Hey everybody, welcome to the Midweek 5. I hope that you're having a good week, and I'm excited just to take a few minutes, 5 minutes or so, and try to give you some encouragement as you are navigating through the week. So I want to talk to you a little bit today about the importance of putting your focus on what you get to do versus what you don't get to do. And it's one of those things I think early on in our lives we get much more excited, like as kids. I watch it with my own kids. They don't get too excited about the things that I tell them they can't do. And when we lay out rules or expectations, sometimes that means we have to clarify from the negative end. In that it means, hey, you're not going to do this, or you're not going to do that, or not going to do that. They're usually just not. I don't know why. Maybe I didn't struggle with that as a kid. No, just kidding. We all do, right? I mean, none of us like to be told what we don't get to do. There's nothing that's very exciting about that. But what really gets people stirred up in a good way and gives you that extra oomph of excitement towards something is when you catch a picture, you catch a vision of what you get to do, of what you're able to do. And so I think sometimes the way that we talk about following Jesus, sometimes maybe depending on the church culture you were brought up in, it's a whole lot of things that you don't get to do. So if you follow Jesus, then you don't get to do this, and you don't get to do this, and you don't get to do that. Well, it's no wonder it seems like following Jesus is, from some perspectives and how it's presented, is just kind of miserable and dull. But Jesus said, I've come that you can have life and have it abundantly. And so my thought is, wow, okay, yeah, so there's some things we don't get to do, but following Jesus, abundant life, there ought to be some things that we get to do. And so, I don't know, maybe you're feeling discouraged because you feel like there's not really much for you to do. As you're following Jesus, a whole lot of things that you don't get to do. I want to lean in for a few minutes and just remind you that there are things that you get to do. One of those things you get to do is be a blessing. And I hope this week, as you navigate through this week, as we look forward into the summer months, you can maybe even see how some of this may show up in your summer plans, your interactions with other people, and see this as your opportunity to get to do something, to join in with God, to be excited about it, and to actually bless some people in your life. I want to read to you from the book of Titus. It's probably not one that you read often, but it was one person through one person giving encouragement to another person. It says this. He says, to those who have trusted in God, may they be careful to devote themselves to doing what is good. These things are excellent and profitable for everyone. Skip on down, chapter 3 and verse 14. It says, our people must learn to devote themselves to doing what is good, in order that they may provide for daily necessities and not live unproductive lives. So I want to give you a little pathway for the next couple of minutes that may help you shift your thinking and as you follow Jesus, from not necessarily thinking about it as things that you don't get to do, but here's something that you get to do, that you can be productive, that you can give great attention toward the good things that God's calling you to. And I think this pathway will help you discover it. Now, Sunday morning, if you're watching the video portion of this, I popped this image up. Sunday morning, referenced it for a few minutes. So I just wanted to come back to it with the Midweek 5 today. It's an acronym for the word bless. And I think if you will follow this is something you get to do. You get to join God in blessing other people. And so I think if you will follow him in this, you will get to do this. It will lead to a more productive life for you, and other people will get blessed as you do this. So real quick overview of this, and just a reminder again from this past Sunday, or if you've heard this in the past, this is not original with me. But this is just such a great pathway toward us living productive, not unproductive, thinking about what we can do rather than what we don't get to do. So we begin with prayer. I mean, that's where this is rooted. If you're trying to figure out what is it that I get to do for God, just talk to him about it. Say, God, what can I do for you? Will you show me an opportunity that I have to do something for you that could actually be a blessing for others, that could help me feel like I'm being productive in my walk with you? So begin with prayer and just come into it open-handed and let God lead you and see where he takes you in the midst of that. And now, some ways that may begin to show up, directions that God may lead you. Well, he may say, hey, why don't you just go listen to a friend? Just step into a conversation, ask some questions, and just listen. Just pay attention to what people are talking about. Take notice of what's going on around you. Just listen. Rather than feeling like you always have to have something to say, just listen. And then eat. Hey, go have a meal with somebody. Eat with a friend. Invite somebody over to your house. Have a cookout as a family with another family. Maybe God would bring someone to your mind that you just need to eat with or share a cup of coffee with or whatever it may be. Just create that space where you can eat together. Jesus was all the time looking to eat with people. Maybe there's an opportunity where you can serve. As you begin with prayer and you're asking God, what do I get to do? He may bring to your mind a very clear opportunity of a need, something, a situation that's going on in someone's life, and you could have the opportunity to be the one that serves that person. It would be a blessing for you, but it's going to be a blessing for them. It's something that you get to do. And then maybe God would create an opportunity as you listen, as you eat, maybe even as you serve, that you ultimately get to share your story. Sharing your story about what God has done in your life, how you get to follow him. It's not a burden, it's a blessing. And out of that natural overflow, you get to share about the good news of Jesus, or maybe help someone think differently. Maybe they're stuck in a rut of thinking about following Jesus. It's just a whole bunch of things I don't get to do. But when you can think differently about that and begin to experience that, I think God will give you a better story to tell, maybe than what you're used to when it comes to talking about your faith. So that's my encouragement for you today. What does this look like? What's the next step for you? Begin with prayer, listen to a friend, eat, serve, or share your story. Somewhere in that perspective, I think God may have something for you. So lean into that. Let him lead you. Be encouraged this week. Following Jesus is an adventure. It's an adventure full of highs and lows. But he is the consistent one in this, and he is inviting you to be a part of what he wants to do. So step into it. Be encouraged this week. God has good works, good things for you to pursue and be a part of. So seek those out, and look forward to being back with you next week as we'll unpack something new for your Midweek 5.